Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what terrible product sells by the millions? Printer ink cartridges. I hate the printers that refuse to print a black and white page just because it's out of yellow ink. Or you have a combo printer / scanner that refuses to scan if it's out of yellow ink. A lot of people seem to be pointing out some secret yellow dots that get printed for tracking purposes. I don't know how that gets used when you're scanning a document though. There's no printing at all when you're using the scanning function. Anything offered in the Canadian cellular plan market. Thanks for nothing CRTC. I recently moved back to Canada from the US, and it's actually cheaper to pay the US roaming fees than to switch to a Canadian provider. Most US plans these days treat Canada and Mexico as part of their local calling area anyway. Not just cell plans, internet packages suck too. Found this interesting infographic. Crazy to see what countries Canada is on par with. NBA 2K franchise. Just keeps getting progressively worse, more ads, more incentives to spend money, gameplay barely changes. We'll never forget 2K18, my red pilling. First crack at my player for that year. Couldn't select the hairstyle I always used, and never had to purchase until then. Had to load up into the town center and hike as slow as a tortoise to a barber shop. Only to find the style I wanted was gonna cost me 2,000 VC. $20 at the time got me 7,500 0. It then dawned on me. Imagine spending $1 to $2 actual dollars for a virtual haircut subscription that doest carry over into the next game in 12 months. Livid. Well, come on man, how long do you expect a haircut to last? I remember when one of them launched the same time with GTA Casino expansion and the NBA 2K trailer featured more gambling Maya games. This is the said NBA 2K trailer https://46mq1zmz-l4. Goes for pretty much every sports game out there. FIFA, Madden, etc. NBA 2K is a different level. It's unbelievably lazy at this point. Complete greed fest. Cigarettes. I know they say that people often die from smoking, but my uncle smoked, and he only died once. Statistically, 90% of smokers die per second. My data. I saw you were thinking about toast today. Here's 10 ads on toast. I saw you watched a video review for a vacuum cleaner. Here's 30 more even though you've already purchased one. Herbalife. I work for FedEx and it's insane the amount of Herbalife boxes that come through our facility. Haha, I work at UPS and it's all sent up here. I swear the MLMs have just arbitrarily split by shipper. HL is HQD in Memphis, as is FedEx. They have a distribution contract that is very mutually lucrative. The CEOs move in the same circles. If you work at FedEx in Memphis, you're literally seeing 100% of the product HL moves. I know literally no one that buys it. I'm convinced they're a drug front or are faking their financials. Just FYI, most health or smoothie places that have a green sign is owned by Herbalife. Doesn't need to specifically say Herbalife for them to sell their product. Cheap toilet paper that your finger goes right through unless you fold it over several times. Some people need a trip through Mud Valley to stay humble. It's not a big deal. You had a big mud pie, you used too small a slice, I ate the mud pie and now my stomach is absolutely fucked. Pay to win games. I got sucked into State of Survival not knowing what pay to win even was. Been playing for over a year and dumped money into fake stats. It can easily become an addiction. Lesson learned. Never again. I'd give you an award but I spent all my money on plasma. FIFA. The same shit repackaged every year but they change it just enough so that you're not good at it anymore. Every year could easily just be a patch. I laughed my ass off at that post where they zoomed into the crowd and they were holding signage with 2019 on it in the 2020 game. They didn't even change the fans. Cable TV, from major providers. They made money fucking people over and then when streaming services changed the game they decided to continue finding new ways to fuck you over. God help you if you live in a rural area. You know, the original concept of cable TV with TV without ads. LOL. That didn't last long. Valley screw you if you want to watch sports. Cable has always been a terrible product. Kid me was shocked at how many ad breaks I had to sit through when we first got Sky TV as a kid. We paid for the channel and yet I was now watching tons of ads. Back then though I could skip between Fox Kids and Nickelodeon and rarely see them. Nowadays all channels seem to have them at the same time, so there is no skipping them. I remember being a kid and seeing ads that claims cable TV had no ads, lol. Oh, to be young and Dave again. Penis enlargement pills. Link. He doesn't need them. Zelda. I remember reading once that if they really did double your size you'd only need to take around 45 pills to touch Neptune with your penis. How many for euros? Average penis size, we'll round it to 5 in. Doubled 45 times, 175,921,860,444,160 in. Converted to miles, 2,776,544,514.6 miles. Distance to Neptune according to Google, 2.7 billion miles. Yep, checks out. The pills keep getting larger but my penis is still the same size. Am I doing something wrong? Beginner's mistake, you've been taking pill enlargement penises. Wildly overpriced microtransactions in video games, it's genuinely absurd. $25 for a little outfit for your character in a first-person shooter where you do not see your little outfit is a perfect example. I remember the good old days when people were mad about horse armor. I hate the slow attrition that got us to this point. Paying full AAA title price just for a skin is absurd, yet pretty much every game does it, implying there are people who are paying up. Madness. It's crazy to think about those days. Why should I pay a few bucks for horse armor? This is an atrocity. I bought the whole game, gimme the whole game I paid for. Looks like the whiny gamers of the past were actually right, look at where we are now. Detoxification miracle products. Get all the toxins out of your body. You already have a pancreas and liver. Edit, and kidney, s. Edit 2, thanks for the silver. Edit 3, glad to see so many people actually are educated about their digestive systems. One of my favorite areas of study right now are the gut microbiome and its ever-increasing known impact on our overall health. So far it really seems like one of the most important factors, if not the most, is the quality of care you give your old poop machine. So yeah, don't consume garbage branded as detox products that fuck your colon and kidneys. Hopefully. I'm up to 7, work are getting suspicious about the number of missing apprentices though. Fruits that have to be repackaged individually. Edit, I went to sleep and it kind of blew up. Thanks for the silver, you are too kind. Greater than. So every supermarket fruit in Japan. You know those super expensive peaches. My last trip to Japan, drove through Kofu and visited the Fukigawa fruit park. Right outside there were several fruit stands that gave each visitor a big ass peach to taste. Easily $10 each at the markets in Tokyo. Alienware computers. They used to be genuinely top of the line gaming machines, expensive but well balanced and good bang for your buck. Then Dell bought them and ran the product line into the ground, stuffing them with way too much RAM and way too little everything else but keeping the premium price. The brand still has enough cultural momentum among teenage gamers, however, that they still sell despite the terrible price. But pro tip, before Dell bought Alienware, they were Clevos. And good news, you can still buy a Clevo from numerous resellers, Eurocom or XMG for example. They still are great, well, besides their software, that can go F, I always go for Clevos now. I really can't recommend Eurocom, I've had terrible experiences with their customer support. My old System 76 was a tank though. Douche like summer's eve. That stuff is totally unnecessary if you're hygienic. It's also actually bad for your phase balance too. You shouldn't stink, but if it smells like artificial flowers down there it's a problem too. Yee. The vagina is self-cleaning. Lysol used to be marketed as a douche. Even had all kinds of ridiculous ads scaring women that their husband will leave them if they don't disinfect down there. Whoa, I looked this up BC, it sounded wild, but very plausible, and the Smithsonian ran an article arguing that they were subtly marketing it for birth control under the guise of hygiene. These ads aren't frightening women into thinking their genitals smell badly. According to historian Andrea Tone, feminine hygiene was a euphemism. Birth control was illegal in the US. Until 1965, for married couples, and 1972, for single people. These Lysol ads are actually for contraception. The campaign made Lysol the best-selling method of contraception during the Great Depression. Apparently it wasn't that effective and it corroded your insides and killed you. Literally any sport games that come out once a year. It made sense 20 years ago when graphics were improving so fast that each year's game was actually different than the year before's. In 2021 they should just release a content pack every year to update player data and then put out a new version every 5 years or so when there's actually something to change in the game.